Hola, buenos noches, and good evening. This is your weekly news report, and I'm your host, Pedro, along with Rafa and Chief Meteorologist Ariana. At least 13 people have been killed in southwestern Japan after a magnitude 7.1 earthquake, as rescuers searched for survivors of collapses at a shopping mall and a paper mill. The quake struck Tuesday afternoon in Kumamoto Prefecture, on Japan's southern main island of Kyushu at a relatively shallow depth of 6 miles, prompting tsunami warnings and evacuation from coastal areas. The epicenter was about 12 miles south of the city of Kumamoto, which has a population of about 700,000. While the tsunami warning was lifted shortly after, the quake caused extensive damage throughout the prefecture, including to historic buildings such as Kumamoto Castle, a popular tourist site that is still under repair from another deadly quake in the same area in 2016. Thousands of soldiers have been deployed to assist rescue teams across the affected area, while hospitals have treated dozens of people for injuries. Japan's meteorological agency warned there could be more earthquakes of similar intensity.
Iran vowed to punish the United States on Thursday after the American military said it had completed a heavy wave of strikes overnight, the latest retaliation for an attack by Tehran on U.S. forces in the Middle East. The renewed fighting shattered a brief period of calm that had seen the two sides engage with a push to revive diplomatic efforts and stave off dramatic new escalation. There were also signs that the war was again expanding and drawing in new countries, raising the stakes for the region and the global economy. After Saudi Arabia joined the U.S. in striking Iran-backed militants in Iraq, Egypt confirmed Thursday that a drone ignited fires on 2 natural gas vessels at the Mediterranean port of Damietta. It was not immediately clear who was behind the drone strike on a U.S.-owned floating storage facility and a Greek-owned tanker in Egypt, but an attack there by Iran would mark a significant new expansion of the conflict to a key U.S. ally and mediator. CENTCOM said dozens of targets belonging to the IRGC were struck over 2 hours, including military command centers, missile and drone facilities, coastal surveillance and defense sites, and maritime capabilities. Strikes were reported in cities across Iran.
The U.S. government proposed deep cuts to water supply for Arizona, California, and Nevada during dry years in a new plan it released on Friday to operate the drought-stricken Colorado River. Lawsuits from states could challenge the federal intervention and could mean years more uncertainty for a river that provides water to 1 in 10 Americans, irrigates land producing 15% of U.S. food output, and generates power for 6 million people in 7 states. Those 7 states include Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, Wyoming, Arizona, California, and Nevada, known as the Basin States, were unable to agree on how to share the water after over 3 years of talks to replace a plan that expires this year. The U.S. Bureau of Reclamation intervened with a 10-year proposal through 2036 designed to provide flexibility to operate the river's 2 largest energy-producing reservoirs, Lake Powell and Lake Mead, based on severe drought and chronic overuse. In a statement, the Arizona Department of Water Resources called the Bureau of Reclamation proposal unacceptable and noted it did not require cuts of the 4 upper basin states. Water levels in the Lake Powell and Lake Mead reservoirs are at risk of dropping so low that their hydroelectric power plants will stop functioning.
Hello everyone, your Chief Meteorologist Ariana with a look at your weather forecast for the week ahead. Low pressure over the middle Mississippi Valley will move slowly eastward to the eastern Ohio Valley by Monday. Showers and severe thunderstorms will develop over parts of the Ohio and Tennessee valleys. The associated heavy rain will create mainly localized areas of flash flooding, with urban areas, roads, small streams. and low-lying areas being the most vulnerable. Out west, a nearby front and monsoonal moisture will produce showers and thunderstorms with heavy rain over parts of the southern Rockies and southern high plains. Sunday morning and throughout the day on Sunday. By Monday, showers and thunderstorms will extend from the northeast to the Gulf Coast, creating heavy rain over parts of the northern mid-Atlantic and New England. The upper ridge dominating the weather pattern across the western half of the country will weaken slightly and get suppressed south early next week, as a strong cold front is forecast to bring much cooler air through the northwest and into the northern plains the first half of the week. Excessive heat will be persistent across the southwestern deserts region and should gradually spread northeast into the central Rockies and plains as the upper ridge re-intensifies, as well as farther east across the south as it could join with subtropical Atlantic ridging coming in for later week. Showers and thunderstorms look to linger across the east for much of next week as moisture streams northward ahead of the northern stream shortwaves and interacts with weak frontal boundary draped across the region. We're 2 months into the Atlantic hurricane season, and we've seen 2 named storms so far, one in June and one in July. Meanwhile, the Eastern Pacific continues to be extremely active with El Niño fueling tropical activity in the region. As we reach the peak of hurricane season in September and beyond, El Niño is expected to continue strengthening, likely reaching superstatus and becoming one of the strongest El Niños ever. Now, here's a look at your 7-day forecast for the Phoenix, Arizona area. We'll see the extreme heat continue to start the week with daytime highs in the 110s, then coming down to near 100 towards mid to late week. Monsoonal activity will increase a bit towards mid to late week, with late afternoon and early evening pop-up thunderstorms possible. Overnight lows will continue to be on the very warm side with lows ranging from upper 80s to the low 90s for the entire week.
The Arizona Diamondbacks took on the Cleveland Guardians Saturday afternoon out in Cleveland and look to continue their hot streak. Hoskins gave Cleveland a 2-0 lead in the first inning with a 2-run homer to center field off Arizona rookie starter Cole Drake. The Diamondbacks tied it at 2 in the fifth when Ryan Waldschmidt scored from second after Hoskins' errant throw to first, and Gabriel Moreno drove in Carroll on a fielder's choice. The Diamondbacks sent 10 to the plate in the seventh. Perdomo led off the frame and gave the Diamondbacks a 3-2 lead with a first-pitch drive over the right field wall off Hunter Gaddis. Arizona scored their next 6 runs with 2 outs. Ildemaro Vargas had an RBI single, Brian McCann had a 2-run double, and Carroll launched a 3-run homer to center. The Arizona Diamondbacks held on to beat the Cleveland Guardians 12-8 on Saturday night for their 4th straight victory. Here's a look at the National League West standings through Saturday. The Diamondbacks are now just 10 games behind the Dodgers for first place in the NL West and currently hold the final wildcard spot by 1 game. The D-backs look to continue their hot streak as they close out the series on Sunday with the Guardians.
That will do it for this week's weekly news report. As always, thank you for watching and have a great week. Como siempre, gracias por ver el video y que tengáis una buena semana.